Morning guys, today we're going to pick up where we left off on the 58 wagon. I'm currently fitting the transmission cover around the low car shifter, and then I'm going to move on to the vintage air evap mounting under the dash. And we got to route the hoses. There's a whole bunch of stuff we got to do, so let's get to it. Where we left off here, we had this little panel we made. Kind of roughed in right now to fit around the shifter. We shaped it right here using a water flay, planishing hammer like that. And shout out to Timmons Garage. They got us this clamp here to mount the old school water flay planishing hammer too. So I'll mount it to the bench permanently eventually, but for right now, finish welding up this. We'll clean up some of this here and then get this welded into the car. We got our panel here, it's roughed in. We're gonna fit it in that hole, try to close up that area there, and then we'll weld it in. I was debating whether or not to bolt it in, but I think I'm just gonna weld it in and keep it nice and solid. Don't have to worry about that later. So let's get it fit. Tunnel's all welded in. As you can see, ground it smooth, put some E-coat on it to help seal up the metal. Once that's dry, I'll throw some Dynamat on it. It fits pretty well. I got all my clearance I need for the shifter right there. It's all sealed off. It'll be just fine. And I'll cover it with the rest of Dynamat. Now, I need to move back to this section here. So this is under the rear seat. Driveline sits right here. Of course, on a bagged car, driveline's gonna come up quite a bit more. It comes up into this section actually. So I'm gonna cut out this tunnel here to reveal the driveline area. Should be a pinion yoke right about here. And because this is a carrier bearing, I got a short run drive shaft, which is nice. I got a special ordered one with a slip yoke in it, so it should compensate for the up and down of the air ride. And but yeah, right now pinion hits the floor right there when it's all the way aired out, so we're gonna give it some room. quick update here. Got a new hole in the floor. You see the pinion stuffed up in there. That should give me plenty of clearance. I'm gonna build a tunnel, and then carrier bearing goes right there. Should be fairly minimal, but have plenty of room to fit.
Been selling things out well. What facts belong, it's hard to say. Your pattern is so hard to tell. But we're together, that's our game.
Don't look now. Graphic content. I have cut the bejeez out of this floor here. Driveline's still pretty close here. I'm probably going to cut this out as well. I got to give clearance when this thing's all the way out. At the end of the day, this thing's going to lay out, and nothing's going to stop it. So anyway, a little more clearance in and we'll get her. Alright guys, got the driveline out. We are ready to put together. We have the old driveline. Carrier bearings seen better days for sure. I like to upgrade to these billet units. Also, rear portion driveline has a slip yoke on it, and that'll allow for a lot of travel for all the motion that the suspension goes through on this. So now I got to tear it apart and let's put it together.
Round, round we go. The dance ain't over, I'm sure we're still the same. Love the ways you make us whole. Would you say if things ain't right? Look away, look away. What's really going on? What's really going on? Would you tell me, can't you say? What's really going on? What's really going on? Down the bottom in the hole, there's no sane ways, there's no explanations. I've got things I tend to moan. In these times, just please be patient. Be my shore, you be my home. Drag us out and build us up again. Put things right, let me go. No way of knowing if there's still time. Look away, look away. What's really going on? What's really going on? Would you tell me, can't you say? What's really going on? What's really going on? Look away, look away. What's really going on? What's really going on? Would you tell me, can't you say? What's really going on? What's really going on? Oh, look away and just look away. What would you say if things ain't right? Would you tell me, can't you say? Please just talk to me if things ain't fine. Look away, you just look away. What would you say if things ain't right? Would you tell me, can't you say? Please just talk to me if things ain't fine.
Alright guys, update. I got the driveline tore apart, and look at my face. That was all from the driveline tunnel. Yummy. Anyway, I got the driveline reassembled with the new slip style. It all fits in there. I do need to get a universal for the yoke off the transmission, but notched out the rear floor, made sure it came up for clearance. Put together this little tunnel here, which I got to notch and fit for that. So that's what I'm going to do now, is get that driveline covered up. to the tunnel. I got this piece, this 18 gauge, and made it kind of rough. Woo! Did you hear that? Let's go look. It is coming down out there. All right, now we got flooding. What is going on right now? Central Oregon. It'll probably be sunny in about 10 minutes here. All right, storm drain, barely handle it. I know it doesn't do justice, but my feet are getting wet. All right, door's coming down, show's over. What in the... We got flooding. All right, back to the business at hand. All right, tunnel. I got it wedged in here. I'm gonna throw a couple good tacks through the side here. Oh, we got light flashage. All right, we got. I'm gonna throw a couple good tacks in there that'll hold it, and then from the bottom side, I can start working these gaps around. And I got blocks of wood wedged underneath it between the drive line to kind of help keep it centered. Yeah, let's burn a couple tacks in, and then I'll probably go and unplug everything because we're gonna have light outage here shortly. Okay, tacking away. That's gonna do it for today, guys. Got the shifter tunnel wrapped up, and I'm working on the driveline tunnel for the back. Also put together the driveline itself. I need to get a U-joint, and I can put the yoke on for the transmission, and then that part will be done. That's a good key part. But tomorrow, hopefully, I will get the tunnel wrapped up in the back, and then we can start dynamatting it and move on to the vintage air stuff. So the evap for the vintage air is already been fit once. It's back out so we could dynamat, and then it's ready to go back in, start routing hoses and getting all this stuff buttoned up and start connecting the dots. We're getting close, getting real close. I don't know if I'm gonna make it to that car show or not, but at least it's moving forward. That's good enough for me. Till next time. All right, guys. We are back, day 2 here this weekend. We are gonna pick up where we left off, which is button up that transmission tunnel. It was all fitted, started welding it, ran out of wire. That was all the excuse I needed to go home for the day. So I'm gonna load up the welder, get that thing burned in, get it epoxied, and then it'll be ready for dynamat. Then I'm gonna pull out the driveline again. Now I can send it in, get it shortened a little bit. It just needs about 1 inch off of it, and that portion will be ready to go. Then, depending how time goes, I may even stick that vintage air evap in today. So let's get to it. All right, welder's all ready to go. I started welding in right here. I'm gonna finish off here, do the other side as well, and I'll work on making some panels for that to close that back in. Also have the other side there. So what I did is this all fits pretty good through here. From the bottom side, I was able to work over this edge over to here and kind of keep that nice and tight. So should be good enough for now. Hopefully it won't take too much trimming to get that rear seat to fit in there, but it'll look good when it's done. Yeah, let's get welding. got the tunnel welded in from about here up and around. It ain't winning any good guys best rear driveline tunnel awards or anything like that, but it'll do. So now I'm going to template this portion right through here, make that out of sheet metal to get that all enclosed, and then I think it'll be about ready. So let's do that. Just made up a little template here, more chipboard. You've seen me use this before. Basically I'm just following the lines of the floor. It's kind of got a little step there, sneaking up on it. Now I got it to fit. Theoretically I could flip this over and do the other side, probably not, but I will make a pattern out of this, shorten it up a little bit, and then we should have something to weld to. So check the other side and then transfer this to some 18 gauge, bend her up and get it in. Alright guys, that's going to do it for this week. I got the tunnel wrapped up in here. I realized I didn't put on the time lapse for that whole segment, so sorry about that. Ultimately, I ended up rebuilding these panels. I had one built for there and it just wasn't fitting right. It was a little small, so I made a new one. It's all one piece and it's not the prettiest, but this thing's totally sealed off. I'll prep it, put some E-coat on it, and then it'll be ready for Dynamat, and then essentially the interior is done on this thing. So I am going to pull out the drive line on it, get it short next week, and that'll button up that portion. But yeah, it totally clears now. Drive line fits, tires tuck, all good things. So yeah, till next time, guys, have a good weekend and we'll see you then.